event?
Um, Honestly, it's super cool to see all the regulars that we've somehow managed to like have. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people in the crowd that come just to support the girls, and
Amazing.
um, I'm grateful for that. Growing up queer in Orange County and being like, one of the few like minority groups or like kids that weren't white, essentially.
Yeah.
Um, like it was so hard for me to find like community and like things like that out there. So
Yeah.
that's something I've always longed for.
Yeah.
Um, and doing this, it's just I don't know. It's been a real big blessing to see the people that come out. Um,
Yeah.
just to honestly, at the end of the day, support like what the whole like motto of it is just to just celebrate. At the end of the day, just celebrate women, celebrate
Yeah.
queerness.
What
Um,
so you have cis women also in your show, right?
yeah, I do a lineup of like cis and trans women.
Mhm.
And the reason why I do that is, I was sitting and talking with Jordan Kensley.
Yeah.
Um, she's the one that actually helped me like y- gave me so many good like ideas and stuff about how to navigate with cheetahs and stuff from the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, and so um, she recommended having a half and half lineup because then that would just help to normalize the attraction to trans women because like I don't want it to be like seen as like a fetish anymore. I just want to be like,
Right.
oh, you like it's like the way I like to see it, it's like, if you're gonna go to a buffet, there's plenty of different types of foods there for everybody, and
Yeah.
you may not like the green beans, but you're gonna fucking live for the, fried chicken. So
Right,
you
right.
something for everybody.
Totally.
Uh, and just yeah, I just wanted to normalize that attraction. I just wanted to stop guys, especially the men that are like trans amorous men, to stop sort of rethink their to start rethinking their inner dialogue that they have about their attraction towards trans women, um,
So do you
and
think that
taking it out of that creepy fetish sort
yeah,
of. Yeah,
yeah. That's what I was just about to ask. Do you think they do it I'm just trying to get into their heads,
yeah,
like because I know a man, he's a very dear friend of mine, and
mhm,
he is attracted to women, but he's also very attracted to trans women, very.
mhm,
But he's just the most kind-hearted soul. I've never had a deep conversation with him about like what you're talking about because it didn't ever occur to me until now.
yeah,
But he doesn't come off to me as someone who's doing it in this like creepy way. And
yeah,
so, is there a difference between someone who's genuinely like, for instance, I'm genuinely mostly attracted to male men.
yeah,
And then the women I'm attracted to are super pretty, voluptuous
yeah.
females. Like I like the lipstick girls. Um, so for him, I feel like that's just a genuine like attraction that he's kind of wired to have, and that was always my thought. And now I'm
Yeah.
wondering if I was wrong this whole time.
Well, no. So, there are the guys that are genuinely just like, who
Okay.
just see trans women as women. They're attracted to like femininity in all its forms.
Okay.
Uh, then there's like, when I, for the first time I started dancing at, there's then the ones, and when I say creepy, it's the ones who come off as being predatory. Like the
Okay.
ones that are like, like are there that are like, almost like sort of just like literally only seeing you for just like you're no more different than a steak on a plate, you're literally just a fucking walking piece of meat, and they literally only see
Yeah.
you for the one body part, and that's it,
Yeah.
and not
Okay.
wanting to get to know you for a person. They literally just see you for your anatomy. you know?
Wow.
Um, like, that's the huge difference.
Yeah.
There's some people that are like, are definitely curious or at least, trans amorous and, very polite, treat you very like a decent human being. But, there's the
Totally.
other half that just treat you like an object. And I guess that's the biggest difference, who treats you like a human or
You know what?
not.
And that's so interesting because I feel the same way about some customers, like customers over time. And even I experience this on Instagram with certain men that I DM with. There's two, three, four, there's like about 4 or 5 different men that I've never met before that I message with on Instagram. And they don't send me dick pics. They don't ask to have sex with me. They're not trying to like get to know me. They
Yeah,
just treat me like a normal person. And
yeah.
and then I have the guys that come in and they're like, "Hi, I want to fuck you." Literally, I had to block somebody today for saying that.
Oh
Um,
god, so they're just so out there with what they have to say, like,
yeah, or like, but this is my body, and all you're thinking about is how to plow it. Like you're
yeah,
definitely getting blocked.
mhm,
and And so I say all of that to say that, of course, it would translate with trans women because people's mentality about something that's different, it probably just gets amplified
mm,
because of like a lot of people just can't wrap their heads around it, and like I've experienced that same thing too,
yeah,
where they're just like, "Hey, what are you doing after this?" Like in the first 30 seconds of me meeting them, and it's like,
mhm,
I have cats and I'm hungry and I go home. Like I'm a
yeah,
normal person. What do you mean? What am I doing after this? I go to bed and I sleep. Damn
mhm.
idiot.
See, if they really care about you, they'd be like, "What are you doing after this? Can I buy you some food after?" And that's how they get into
Well, yeah, because I like
it.
food. Yeah. So yeah, so of course it would translate that way. But I don't know. I just want them to learn faster.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I've sort of come to the conclusion too is, um, so, like, there's, like, different levels. I feel like almost like it's like or more so, like, on a spectrum of, like, guys. So it's like you have the super, like, creepy fetish guy, like, let's think, locked in the basement, like, just going at it on their computer, whatever. And then there's, like, the one that, like, just amazing, super dope, sweet guy. Um, I think the level of their, like, fetishiness tends to, like, usually rely on how much they've been able to process their, like, societal shame that they've inherited around a lot of, these different topics, especially for trans women, or like even for like gay men who come out like later in life, or like those like, you know, guys that like don't ever come out, but like you're like, oh, we found you on Craigslist or something. If anyone remembers
Yeah.
Craigslist.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. If we look at what the media has done, right? The media has done this with strippers and sex workers as well, where, we're
Oh,
typically the butt of
majorly.
the joke. Yeah, but if
Yeah.
you but now that I'm thinking about it, I have like I can recall a specific movie, The Hangover, which is a very popular movie where they're doing exactly that. They're fetishizing trans women, and then there is shame surrounding like, oh, you had sex with her, she is a
Yeah.
dude, and it's like, oh, I can't believe
Yeah.
it, oh my, and it's like, well, why is that the most horrible thing that could have happened to you? It's
Mhm.
not. And I think that that's kind of where that shame comes from, is from this like collective societal thinking of that, having sex with um the same sex, if you're not out as gay, is super
Yeah.
shameful and not good for some reason.
'Cause it's that whole idea of, like, heteronormativity of, like, like, this is how it should be, like, I think about it too sometimes, it's like, I'm super grateful to have grown up super queer and, like, been able to have found my community and things like that because, like, you have these people that are like, "Oh, I have this timeline to follow, I gotta find my, like, high school crush, go to college, keep in
Totally.
touch with the high school crush, marry them, finish college, buy a house, white picket fence, have the kids all by this like time period. And they're like,
Right.
it's like all they're stuck on. Whereas like, whereas with us, we just sort of like, we're like, fuck it. Like, that's not the life I'm going to have. And so I'm just
Right.
going to live our life with what we will. So,
Totally. Yeah, and it's so courageous to live that way, and I think people don't even understand the amount of courage that it takes to step out of a normal way of being and choose your own path because it can be terrifying, you
I
know?
mean, there's some people who would rather live in an like they're just like live in a lifestyle where they're not happy and they're living quiet and closeted and would rather be sit in that uncomfortableness or
Yeah,
be comfortable in that sadness, if
yeah,
that makes
totally,
as opposed
totally.
to living out their truth.
Yeah,
You
because
see it
change is
all the
scary.
time.
Yeah, totally, totally, and honestly, that to me is more scary, living in some sort of a lie or being trapped inside of your body and not fulfilling your desires and your path, even though
I mean,
people might
yeah.
tell you you're crazy, like,
I
yeah.
mean, that's why we have homophobes.
Yeah,
You know, say about the homophobes, they're the
yeah.
first who are going to be bent over at the glory hole, honey.
Did you hear the story about this there was the story that came out, my friend told me about it the other day, about this man in a different country in Europe basically said that the coronavirus was the result of homosexuality and it's like a punishment from God that because of homosexuality. And then that guy ended up getting coronavirus.
Oh my god,
Isn't that
that's
great?
always the gag. That's always the gag. It's always. It's always how many fucking senators or politicians or priests have we had that are like, oh, those damn homosexuals, and they were found in a fucking park
I know. Yeah. That's
you
so,
know?
yeah.
I mean, look at this asshole that lives in LA, Aaron Shaw, who was like, I believe he was with Arizona. He actively voted against the gay and queer community, and and then was seen like bouncing around like at Coachella with guys and things like that, and then at the Standard, and then recently he released this like full long like apology of like, oh well, this and this happened. Um, I'm gay. How was
Wow.
like never apologize, never acknowledge for setting in place the most harmful like policies towards his own community. So
Who's
that's